Well, good morning everybody, this is dear Mama Sal, and just to let you know, today for dinner I am doing a smoked quarter spiral sliced ham. I took it out of the packaging, and what I've done is I've put it into a big bowl, and I've covered it with my Soda Stream, about a litre of Soda Stream cola, and I'm just going to let that soak in until I'm ready to cook it, which will be in a few hours. All this needs to do is to warm up. I'm going to warm it up in the halogen, so we know that's going to warm up pretty quickly. So, yum. So what's going to happen is the ham itself is going to get absorbed into the cola, rather, is going to get absorbed into the ham, and going to give it a wonderful taste. So obviously I've washed my hands, but you know, you can actually just open up the slices a bit and let it absorb it. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. Actually, this is already falling apart, but that'll be fine. It'll taste just great. Now I've got really sticky hands. This is dear Mama Sal saying, I'm going to put it in the fridge now. Bye for now. Well, even though it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm already starting to get my vegetables ready. I've taken the ends off the beans and I've got them in water. Just so that you know, I've got some fresh gourmet crisp onions, which are lightly salted. I'm going to leave those in the packet, obviously, but I'm going to take about half a cup of that and half a cup of almonds and crunch them up a little bit together, and then after the beans are cooked, I'm going to sprinkle it over the top. Yum. Well, this is ready for the potato dish, and I was reading this online. I've got a sweet potato, some regular russet potatoes, a red onion, and some Campbell's cheddar cheese soup. I think I only need one can, but I bought a second can just in case. So basically you just put it in layers, and I'll talk to you about that when I do it later on this afternoon. But what I'm going to do is just peel everything and put it in a big bowl of water, so that it's one less thing to do when I come back from having my hair done. So I thought some of you would like to see, that's the bowl that it's sitting in, and it's just doing its thing. Wonderful. The beans are below, and below that I've got some short cheesecake, some New York cheesecake that I'm going to serve for dessert. So, nearly done. And for those of you who know about HAL, my halogen oven, the bowl from my halogen is very useful for for cooking with, because you can see, because it's just a perfect size for holding vegetables and stuff. Now, for those of you who don't do a lot of cooking, one of the things that you probably may or may not know is that potatoes go black very easily once you've taken the peel off them. So I'm just going to leave them in the water. I've put a couple of squirts of lemon juice in there just to make sure they don't go brown, which they won't in water. And then what I'm going to do is, once I've got everything ready, and just before I go to have my hair done, I'm going to slice these up and put them in my slow cooker to cook while I'm out getting my hair done. And so by the time I come back, it's going to be hopefully very easy. I'm going to be able to just put the ham in to cook slowly, just to warm up slowly for a few hours. I'm going to cut up the onion and slice up all that stuff, put it in layers in my slow cooker. That I'm going to do before I go. Yeah, right, you got that. Well, hi everybody, and now we're going to get to the stage of actually slicing the potatoes. One of the things I wanted to tell you, for those of you who don't own such a thing, it's a really good thing to have a mandolin. This is just an incredible thing, and if you can, buy a good one. And I say buy a good one because it'll last you a lifetime. My previous one lasted me tens of years. So basically how it works is like this. You just literally take your vegetables and you slice them. Now, it's nice and even. How difficult is that? Saves so much time. Now you'll notice I'm not doing the end bits yet. I'll explain to you why in a minute. There we go. I obviously don't want to get my hands too close to that blade, so that's why I just do about half of it freehand. And then I'm going to, there's got a special gizmo that goes on top to do the rest. I think those are all the big ones done. No, one more. Okay. Do is you put your vegetable in, and you put this on top, and this has got a gripper on it, and then you just continue. Okay, so this has got a gripper underneath it, and then what you do is you just put your vegetable in. Oh, there's another one that I didn't do, so let's just do it this way. Start it, and then all you do is you put that bit in, and it finishes it. And that looks it. Okay, now put this in there. Now, it's got I'm just checking to see that, oh, there's a one that hasn't been cut yet. Awesome. Okay, so let's put all this together. So I've got 1 can of condensed cream cheese soup. It's called cheddar cheese. Yum. Sorry for the noise. Okay, now just because I thought it sounded good, I read somewhere it's really good if you also add, I'd call that a dollop of cream cheese. Why not? So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put in about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of milk. That's, I think it's easier to put in a little bit too much and then cook it off at the end rather than have it too dry. I'm also going to add a little bit of seasoning. I like to use sea salt, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt, not too much, and a little bit of my Montreal steak spice, which I use for everything. Again, just a little bit of seasoning. You can add more later if you want. And then all I'm going to do is just roughly mix it up with a whisk. That's good. Smells good too. And that is, I've put a little bit of oil in the slow cooker, and I'm just going to coat the inside of the slow cooker with the oil. And then what I'm going to do is, after I've put everything in, I'm going to seal it with some aluminum foil and then put the lid on. The reason is I want to keep whatever moisture there is. As you can see, there isn't a lot of liquid here. So we want to keep whatever moisture there is in the slow cooker while it's cooking. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I put in about a tablespoon of oil, and I'm just going to make sure that my slow cooker is coated nicely. The next thing is we're going to just do some layers of the different things. So I'm going to start with, oops, I don't want those yet. We're going to start with the potatoes. Do some potatoes. And we're going to do some, put some sweet potatoes in. More regular, oh, then we'll put some onion that I cut up. I know, looks good, doesn't it? I love doing these experiments for you guys. I'm certain I wouldn't be eating this way today if it weren't for you guys, so thank you. Okay, there we go again. Potatoes. Sweet potatoes. Now if you notice, I'm waiting until the very last minute to take the potatoes out of the water, and that's because, oh, you know what I forgot? Some more onion. Of course. Now, for those of you who like leeks, I think leeks would look really good in here as well. In fact, any layer of any vegetables, you could almost make it a meal in one. You could do a layer of meat in there, and it would make an unbelievable meal. Alright, so now the last thing I'm going to do is to add the mixture. Second to last thing, in fact. So there's the cheesy mixture going in. And about half an hour before I serve it, I will take all this out and put some shredded cheese on top. Okay, so here I'm just going to seal the slow cooker. You remember, because I want to make sure that we don't have too much moisture escaping. So there we go. Right, good to go. So good idea if I actually plug it in, I guess. Found they work so much better when you do. Okay, so I'm going to set mine. Let me have a look here. It's now 6 hours I'm going to set it for, so turn it on. I'm going to put it on low for, low for 6 hours. and off it goes. And that, hopefully, will be all I really need to do to it until the last half hour. Just as I'm cleaning up, I wanted to show you why I like to buy a good quality mandolin. This is mine, and as you can see, most mandolins you'd have to put it in the dishwasher with this very sharp blade showing. And mine, I can turn it back, and there we go. It's not going to hurt anybody. Also, it's got a little cheese shredder on the end of it if you need it. I've never used it. I'm certain some people do. But the whole thing can go in the dishwasher. Well, I've just moved it from here, from the bowl that it was in, into the halogen, because I'm going to use the halogen to warm it up. But as you can see, I've got my baster out, and just before I put it in, I'm just going to take some of the juices, not all of them, and just work a bit more through. Oops. Work a bit more through into the slices. This is going to taste so good. So I've put it in at about 375, and I've put it on for a full hour. It's now near enough, as you can see, to 2 o'clock. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to let it do that for about 4 hours. After a couple of hours, I'm going to open it up and put some more liquid in there, so it can continue to do its thing, and I think it's going to taste wonderful. I clean forgot to put on the ring, so I've put the ring on, and still made sure that the protective foil, really the foil at the top is to stop the foil that's down there coming up and hitting the underside of the halogen light area. So that's the reason why you put this like tent there. So there we go, we've got the thermometer in. I have no idea if it's going to work, but we will see, and we're good to go. So after just 1 hour, the internal temperature of this ham is now up to 145. Well, they're just about to arrive, so about 5 minutes ago I put the brown sugar over the top, that glaze, so that's awesome. Plus I added some more brown sugar. Well, I mean, you can't have too much brown sugar with with ham. And so now what we're doing is just caramelizing the brown sugar. What? Caramelizing. Okay, Yvonne's telling me I'm not saying it right.
You are.
Anyway, it's going to look good. That's the main thing. As my mummy always said, the look of it's always half of it. Now I haven't got pineapple and stuff on this one because it's got so much else in it. There we go. Good job, Hal. Alright, so now all I did was put some shredded cheese on there probably 3 minutes ago. Took the foil off. Be careful not to burn yourself, as I did the first time. Took the foil off, took the lid off, and then put the shredded cheese, and then put the lid back on again. I've now put some black pepper on there, and now I'm going to cut up some onion to put on it at the very last minute. Green onion. So there we are, the potatoes all ready to go. In fact, everything's all ready to go.
We just don't have guests.
The only thing is the guests haven't arrived. And the beans are going to be overcooked any minute now. Oh, never mind.